All right, go ahead and read this.
You sure?
Well, because you knew what you wanted to do. You know you want to just tune me up and let me go. So go ahead and read the damn thing, Owen.
I don't have it.
Okay, this guy Dylan on social media with a bunch of numbers says
Dylan 6969. There's
That's
only
right.
one Dennis 6969.
That's right. Said
Dylan 6969 420.
the Browns could have had Grant Udinski coaching a team quarterbacked by Fernando Mendoza, but Ken Carman wanted, quote, culture wins.
Oh my God. Okay.
What do you think about that, Kenny?
Is it bad? Did the Browns win because I willed them to win?
No.
I want to know that.
That has nothing to do with that.
Okay. So the Browns won because I willed them to win?
No, I don't think that's what he's saying.
So what is he trying to say?
I think he's saying, why did anybody want the Browns to win the last two games if you could have had the number one overall pick?
First off, I got people comparing Fernando Mendoza to Nick Foles right now. So if we want to go with silly internet responses, I can go with silly internet responses all we want.
We can win a Super Bowl? And have an MVP?
He did win a Super Bowl.
That'd be pretty good.
Yes, he certainly did. Well, sure as hell. Look who's the idiot now. Fine. But the two culture wins. Do we need to sit here and do this whole thing over again, the semantics of it all over again? I'm sorry. If they would have won, if they wouldn't have won the game, would they have had the number one overall pick? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know if the Raiders would have allowed him. But that's, by the way, that's you who've said that a million times.
I think the Raiders would have not made. Was it a home game or an away game? I was gonna say they wouldn't have made the flight, but they would have figured out a way to lose that game.
It was a home game for them.
So it would have been even more bizarre.
I don't know, guys. You guys sat there and went one, and I'll say to Grant, I'll say to everybody else, or Grant or Dylan, or whoever the guy's name is. You went 1-31 before, and you took the third best quarterback in the draft. You went 1-31 to set yourself up for a quarterback. One win in 32 tries, and you took the third best quarterback in the draft. It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. Fernando Mendoza, I wish him well. I'm not rooting against him over the two quote-unquote culture wins. But you guys sit there, and when you talk about losing, to me, all you're doing is basically giving them an excuse to lose more, because that's all they've done before. So if you want to give them an excuse to not be good at their jobs, go ahead and give them another excuse to not be good at their jobs.
I'll just remind you.
So that's how much faith we have in Andrew Berry. You have to sit there and lose because we have no faith that he'll ever be able to pick the players, which, by the way, they took the third best quarterback in the draft, and that's the guy people will call in and line up down the street to bring that guy back. They took the third best one, number one overall.
Well, I mean, you could have had Jackson Dart last year, and Harbaugh seemed to like him enough to take a job at the Giants.
Jackson Dart last year, yeah, but none of us. Again, one person called in 4 months of talk radio to take Jackson Dart number 2 overall. Nobody was taking him number 2 overall, and nobody was taking him number 5 overall for that matter.
But
I don't want to hear that either.
But you did say at the time that if we were just going to end up firing the head coach, because that was in doubt a little bit before those last two games.
Yeah.
We thought he would get fired, but you did say that culture, if they end up firing Stefanski, then there might not be any culture carryover.
Your culture comes from within the locker room. But I don't think, again, I cannot stress this enough. I don't believe it just carries over. It doesn't just carry over. I never said that then, and I won't say that now.
That is why. That's why a lot of people just said you might as well lose the games. If culture's not going to carry over, then what's the difference?
People are mad at it because it was Shador who said it. But you can sit there and understand going, all right, you just got done. Let me make sure I'm right in the right spot with my schedule. You just played at Chicago. You walked around and lost that football game. Nobody wanted to be there. That's when I really thought he could be fired. Here we go, going over not so ancient history. You played tough against the Bills, but you lost. You had these 2 wins. You knew that they weren't going anywhere. You knew that Kevin was probably getting fired. We all knew in our heart of hearts. Now, it was a question. I understand that. But if you're going to be able to do that after going out and embarrassing yourself against Chicago and then losing to a team that everybody knew was going to the playoffs in the Buffalo Bills, there has to be some sort of culture in the locker room to rally everybody and not just go out there and die. That's what we meant by culture wins, for the love of God. But no, winning 2 games, I've never, ever, 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 ever claimed winning 2 games is going to set us on the right track for winning football games in the future in 2026 and beyond, because you won 2 meaningless football games at the end of the season. That's what I'm trying to clarify.
The thing I was bummed about is, I said this at the time, if we were going to win games at the end of the year, I wanted it to be because Shador was amazing. Instead, he was terrible.
He was bad against Cincinnati,
and the defense carried, defense the last 5 games of the year.
Which is I'm so surprised that Daryl got hammered, apparently, for saying we're questioning whether or not that he would trade for C.J. Stroud. I want to get this right. So Daryl out of nowhere.
Yesterday, yeah.
Do we have audio of it at all, or no? I didn't ask for it, so I set you up in the bad spot there. Again, I was out yesterday, and I was out of town yesterday. Daryl apparently said that he would trade. That was this a question, or was this an opinion?
5 minutes into the show, we were talking about the weekend that was in the divisional round.
C.J. Stroud, he said he would trade the second first-round pick for C.J. Stroud.
Yes.
So I thought about this because you told me he got killed for this opinion yesterday. Why?
Because C.J. Stroud, people watched him the last 2 games in the playoffs.
He was awful
dreadful
the last 2 games, but they were in the playoffs. Now, you can be a bad quarterback and get to the playoffs. Your team can carry you. Is that what they were saying, is that their defense carried them to the playoffs?
Oh,
because he wasn't that great this year.
No. Well, the funny thing was, by the metrics that we keep pointing to, he was 13th. By EPA per play and success rate, he was 13th.
Oh, that's not as bad as I thought he was this season.
Last year, he was really bad. He was like in the late 20s.
So he got better.
But his rookie year,
he was off the charts.
He was like 12th.
Okay.
And, I mean, he cooked the Jim Schwartz defense in the playoffs.
Yes.
He was unbelievable.
So now he's a garbage quarterback and we don't want him?
Now, in the recency world that we live in, he's now terrible.
So I struggle with...
Daryl was thinking buy low. Like, they're talking about whether to give him an extension.
No, you're not buying low there. That's where I disagree with Daryl. There's no such thing as buying low on a guy. Like, it's the same thing with, like, I don't know if I want to give up my second first-round pick for him and then have to pay the guy.
Right.
But at the same time, and we're having these conversations, it would just be a second or a third or whatever, but adding on to it, if you wanted to do with Mac Jones, you wouldn't have to pay him what you're paying C.J. Stroud. At the same time, there's so many people who believe you get what you pay for. I just don't understand why he got hammered for asking such a question. Did he start arguing with people saying that they're idiots or something like that?
I don't even think that was some big, bold proclamation. I think it just came out of his mouth like, hey, C.J. Stroud's been good for the Texans. They go to the playoffs. He's obviously had better seasons than the quarterback play we've had in recent memory.
Well, yeah.
And so the Browns only have so many ways to get a quarterback. They're obviously not getting one at the top of this draft. So what are the Browns doing? Are they trading for Mac Jones? Are they trading for Malik Willis? What is the – because we both agreed yesterday.
Malik Willis should be a free agent, right?
Oh yeah, he's a free agent. They were talking like $50 million. If he doesn't get franchised, which he would never get franchised.
25 a year, or something like that.
So the whole thing is, we both agreed, and I don't know. I think you're on board. Is that it can't be a quarterback room of Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Deshaun Watson. That cannot be the setup for next year.
But
because if that's the setup for next year, whoever they hire as the head coach is going to be set up to totally fail in year one. And if you have a 30,
when you say it can't be, you're saying there's no way that I, as a Browns fan, can tolerate that, right? Because it's probably gonna be.
If that's the case, and Grant Udinski actually takes his job, Vegas will have him as probably 4.5 wins going into the year. And if he starts the season like 1-5, especially with that easy schedule. If they start out the season like that, this is going to be one and done. That'll be the case with that quarterback room.
Can this be the quarterback room in 2026 is the question now. 216-474-0092. I'm sorry. I don't think that Grant Udinski would be a one-and-done guy. I do not want to take a bad situation and make it worse by giving up too much money or too much picks and strapping us too much with the cap over one of these other ones if I don't feel that strongly about the guy. We've already been through hell. Why create a hellish situation out of desperation? Desperation is what got us in this spot, to replace the quarterback that didn't want to play for us anymore and wasn't playing very well and was the third best quarterback that everybody tanked it out for.
Wouldn't desperation be lining up the quarterback that is statistically like one of the worst quarterbacks in recent history and pinning your hopes on that? Isn't that desperation?
What has the organization done to change personnel and the people that acquire personnel, players for the organization, right? They haven't changed anything. If I agree with you, the word that this can't be the quarterback room, I agree with you as a person that loves football, but I don't believe for a second that they are absolutely going to change the quarterback room. There's nothing that looks like they're going to